Good morning, good morning, class. How are you today? I hope that you are doing fine because your vacation is fast approaching, but the learnings continue. That's why I am here, your presenter, Aladdin and Estrada, to discuss to you all about education. When we heard the word education, what comes in our minds? The first thing that pops in our mind is learnings, knowledge, ideas, concepts. And that is important in having education. It makes sure that students have imbibed all the learnings, all the knowledge that they needed to know. And what is the connection of education in comparative economics? It is pivotal that we integrate the discipline of economics in education because it gives us the idea, the knowledge of being a wise consumer. The concept of economics, scarcity, shortage, macroeconomics, microeconomics. It is important that in in elementary, in high school, and in tertiary, integration of economics must be needed. Because as I said, it allows us to have a deeper knowledge, information about economics, on how to become a wise consumer. What are the needs and wants of all the consumers? How they how they manage the products that the customers or that the consumers purchase. And that is the connection of having economics in education. However, no matter how efficient, how effective our educational system is, problems are still inevitable. There's a study conducted in the country of Kenya wherein their educational system is not that effective unlike in the other countries, and that study could also be applied here in our country, which is the Philippines. So one of the problems that affects the efficiency of a quality education is outdated syllabus. Outdated syllabus means the content, the lesson in the curriculum or in the syllabus is not present. The issues, the societal issues that is included in the syllabus is not present. Is not happening in our society right now. That's why it is very important that in a curriculum in a curriculum or syllabus, we integrate the present societal issues and make sure that that issues can be solved by the by the learners, that they can be the part of solution to overcome or to cope up with these changes or problems happening in our society, that all learnings in the syllabus must be applied by your students into praxis or into a real world situation. The second problem is the examination oriented curriculum. These, they are just focusing on examination, on written reports. They are only feeding their learner's mind. But as a professional teacher, as a future teacher, we should not always focusing on our learners' cognitive domain. We should also enhance their skills, their abilities, their behaviors to become a better students. Because in an educative process, it is important that we integrate these three behavioral domains: the cognitive, the psychomotor, and the affective domain, to achieve what we call the totality of learning. The third problem is shortages and lack of resources. We cannot deny the fact that we are the product of K-12 curriculum, wherein in our senior high school, we lacked reading materials. We lacked books. We are only using modules. And that affects our learning somehow, because we are lacking of information. We lack of ideas. And here in our country, there are some areas that has no access in education. They have their schools but have no access in education. They have their schools but have no reading materials. They have their schools but they don't have desks. They do not have chairs. They don't have good and better, conducive facilities. And that really affects the learning and growth of a student. And because of this lack of resources, it makes our educational system inefficient. The fourth problem is unqualified personnel. We cannot deny the fact that here in our country, we have this so-called compadre system, wherein we are accepting employees through connections, through relationship, best friends, blood relation, and we are disregarding their qualifications. For example, Trixie is qualified for the job. However, Nika is also qualified but has less experience compared to Trixie. And me, as a evaluator, Nika is my best friend. And Trixie is just a stranger that is applying in my company. So who am I going to choose? Of course, Nika, if we apply that comparison system. And as a Filipino, we should not practice this kind of system, the compadre system, because we are disregarding those qualified personnel, those qualified employees that is fit, that is fit in a certain job. So we do not practice that. As a future educator, we should not practice compadre system. And the last problem to have a efficient education is overloading and overworking. It is important that in a classroom, we have lesson plan, we have time calendar, so that in order for us to know when to do this, when to have this event, when not to have this event, and when not to do this. So we need to set a time frame, time calendar, time management, in order for us to do the things accurately, smoothly, without affecting our students' learning. Quality education provides quality learning. Did you know that educational development and educational expansion can lead to economic growth and economic development of our country? Yes, that is right. Because if we are all educated and every one of us have a job or work, then we can flatten the curve of unemployment. And unemployment is one of the economic issues that our country facing right now. As a human being, we should not always depend our living in our government, because our government cannot sustain us all. I repeat, government cannot sustain us all, but we can sustain ourselves and we can help our government. That's why I firmly believe that our government should focus more on education. We have this mantra, education is the key to success. And that is right. It is pivotal that every human beings in this earth, every Filipinos must have an access to free education, because it can lead us to economic growth and economic development. Because if we are all educated, we could have an amazing world where it has sustainable living and sustainable livelihood. How about you, class? Does government should also focus on education? Why or why not? This is Aladdin and Estrada, your presenter of the day. Thank you for listening.